everybody and welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make one of these very cute and easy oak leaves. Now I'm going to be adding mine to an autumn wreath. You can obviously use them as appliqués. You can string them all up together in a long line and make a nice garland. You could maybe add them in between your pumpkins of your pumpkin stacks. So it's entirely up to you. These make fabulous autumn decorations. So let's get going. So these are a great project for stash busting your autumn colours. I'm going to be showing you using this DK weight yarn in this lovely burnt orange. I'm going to be using a 4.5mm hook. Now I usually use a 4mm hook for DK weight yarn just to make the stitches look a little larger so it's easier for you to see. I've gone up to a 4.5mm. You're going to need a pair of scissors and a darning needle for your ends. So these leaves are made up using just 2 rounds. So we're going to start with this foundation round here. We're going to make the stalk and then on round 2 we just build up this lovely oak leaf shape. So let's start by literally putting a slip knot on our hook. Here we go. So we're going to start by chaining 12. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11 and 12. So we're going to be working along this chain here. What we're going to do is ignore this loop that's on your hook. This is our first chain. Now I'm going to work this slightly differently. If I just show you on this leaf, this example here, we have this lovely ridged effect going through the middle. Now I'm going to get that effect by working in the back loop of these chains. So this is the front of your chain. This is the back loop of your chain. So this is where I'm going to be putting my stitches. And then if I look all the way along, you can see these back loops. So in the first back loop, I'm going to be putting 1 UK double. So sometimes it's a little bit fiddly getting in those back loops. So a UK double is a US single. And then in the next back loop, I'm going to do the same. So that's a UK double. There's no yarn over. That's a US single. I'm going to do that again in the next 2 along. So apologies if you can hear the rain, it is absolutely chucking it down. So we have in effect done 4 UK double crochets. In the next 1, 2, 3, 4 back loops, we're going to be putting in 4 UK half trebles. That's yarn over first, push through, grab the yarn, pull through. So I have 3 loops, grab the yarn, pull through all 3. So that is a UK half treble, a US half double. So we're going to do another one. So you can see when I do my back loops, it's quite fiddly. So I use my fingernails to help things along. So that is 2. We need to do 2 more, still working in the back loop. 3 and 1 more. And that's 4. So you should have 3 chains left. So if I show you the front, that's 1, 2, 3. If I show you the back loops, 1, 2 and 3. In the next 2 loops, I'm going to be putting in 1 UK treble. So that's 1 US double, yarn over first, grab the yarn, pull through, grab the yarn, pull through 2, grab the yarn, pull through 2. The same in the next one. Grab the yarn, pull through, grab the yarn, pull through 2, grab the yarn and pull through 2. I have 1 chain left, 1 back loop of that chain. In this last chain, I'm going to be putting in 6 UK trebles. Okay, so just remember that's US doubles. So yarn over, push through that back loop, pull through. So that's 1. In that same loop, I'm going to be putting in 2, 3, oh, it's really raining out there, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so by putting those 6 trebles in that same loop, we have gone around the corner. So we've gone around the corner. Try and mind this tail end out of the way. If you have got a larger hole here where we put so many stitches in, if you just pull this tail end tighter, this should close up nicely. So now what we're going to be doing is working along this chain on the way back. Again, working in the back loops. So if I show you now, if you look down on your work, you have these lovely V's, and then we're going to be working in these back loops going along, and then we will have this lovely ridge at the front. So we're just going to do the same stitches but in reverse. So we're going to start with 2 UK trebles. So in the back loop of that stitch there, we're going to put in 1 treble. This yarn is rather splitty, it's not a good choice. And 2, and the next one, another treble. In the next 4 stitches in those back loops, we're going to put a half treble in each stitch. So that's 1, whoops, 2, 3, and 4. Just working in those back loops. Then we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches left when we're going to put a UK double in each of those 4. So again, that's a US single, no yarn over, 2, 3, and that back loop is just a bit difficult to see, and that is 4. So there we have round 1, and you can see we have this lovely stem going through the middle. So if you just want to double check, you should have 26 stitches going all the way around. Now you can see that this is our first stitch of round 2, but before we work in there, we're going to add our little stem first. So what we're going to do is chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now in the second chain from our hook, not this one here, we're going to simply slip stitch. So you're going to push your hook through the front of that chain, grab the yarn, pull through, and the one that's on your hook. We're going to do that all the way back down. So in the second one, another slip stitch, pull through the loop that's on your hook. We're going to do that another 3 times. So grab the yarn, pull through, and the one that's on your hook. Grab the yarn, pull through, and the one that's on your hook. And one more, push through, grab the yarn, and the one that is on your hook. So here we have our little stalk. We're going to be starting round 2 in this stitch here. So in round 2, this is when we're going to shape this lovely oak leafed shape. So this is where we start in our stitch 1. We're going to put in 1 UK double. So again, that's no yarn over. Then we're going to start shaping. So in this next stitch here, we're going to put in 2 trebles. So that's yarn over first. So that's 1 treble. In the same stitch, put another treble. Then we are going to chain 2, 1, 2. In the same stitch, we're going to put a slip stitch. So that's pull through, and the one that's on your hook. And then if I show you, we've made our first little bubble. I don't really know what else to call it. In the next stitch along, we're going to do another slip stitch. So we're going to do another shape. So in the next stitch along, we're going to put in 1 UK double. In the next stitch along, we're going to put in a UK half treble. So that's pulling through all 3 loops. In the next stitch here, in this same stitch, we're going to put in 3 UK trebles. So that's 1, 2, 3. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. In this same stitch, we're going to put our slip stitch. Okay, so we have our second shape here. In the next stitch along, we're going to slip stitch. In the next stitch along, we're going to do a double. The next stitch, a half treble. In the next stitch, a treble. In this next stitch, we're going to put 2 trebles. That's 1 and 2. We're going to chain 2. In that same stitch, we're going to do a slip stitch. So we're continuing to shape our leaf. Now it's a little bit skew-iff at the moment, but it will even itself out. So the next stitch along, we're going to put in a slip stitch. In this next stitch here, we're going to put in 1 double crochet. In the same stitch, we're going to put half treble. In the same stitch, we're going to put a full treble. Okay, now we're at halfway point, so we are literally going to come down this edge by mirroring the stitches in this side. Okay, so in this next stitch along, we're going to mirror. So we're going to start by putting in a full treble. In the same stitch, we're going to put in a half treble. And in the same stitch, we're going to put in a double. In the next stitch, we're going to put a slip stitch. And in this next stitch, we're going to start with another slip stitch. We're then going to chain 2. And in that same stitch, we're going to put in 2 trebles. 1 and 2. In the next stitch, we're going to put in a treble. In the next stitch, a half treble. Whoops. And in the next stitch, just a double. So as you can see, we are literally mirroring this side here. In the next stitch, we're going to slip stitch. In the next stitch, we're going to slip stitch. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3. Now in this same stitch here, we're going to be putting in 3 trebles. So that's 1, 2 and 3. So carrying along, in the next stitch here, we're going to be putting in a half treble. In the next stitch, we're going to put in a double. The next stitch here, we're going to slip stitch. In the next stitch, we're going to slip stitch. We're going to chain 2. In this same stitch, we're putting in 2 trebles. Okay, we're coming up to the last stitch where we're going to put just 1 double. So this should bring us back to where our stalk began. Now here I'm just going to find sort of like a suitable stitch there. I'm just literally going to do a slip stitch in the base of this stalk here. Then what I'm going to do is cut myself a nice tail. Okay, and then I'm just going to bring that yarn up. Okay, so I haven't knotted this off. What I'm going to do is take my darning needle, thread my needle. Okay, and then I'm just going to use the middle stitch down there. I'm just going to take that tail through to the reverse side. Okay, and then I can fasten off on the back, but this is what your oak leaf looks like. Obviously, because I've gone up a hook size, mine looks slightly larger. So if you're going to use a 4mm hook like I did with these, it will be smaller. So again, you can go up or down a hook or yarn size to make these leaves larger or smaller. Now, depending on what you're going to be doing with your leaves, whether you're going to leave your tails long, if you're going to need your tails to secure to a project, what I'm going to do is just knot this end off here on the back, just by using the backs of those stitches. Okay, just to make it nice and secure. So I'll use another back because I'm just going to be gluing mine to a wreath. So I'm not worrying about these tail ends. So I've knotted that off. If I just hide, then just using a couple of those loops on the back to sort of tidy that end away, I'm going to cut. Then what I'm going to do is bring this tail down. So I'm going to use the backs of these stitches to just hide this tail away. So as I say, I'm not going to be using my tail ends to attach this to anything. I'm just going to be gluing. So maybe that's cheating, maybe that isn't, but it works for me. So literally using the backs of stitches, I'm just going to bring this tail end down. So once you've done a few, you will start to remember how these are formed. But obviously to start with, you have to listen to what I'm saying just so that you get them in the right order. So what do you think? Let me know how you get on making yours. Do leave some comments down below. Please do give me a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed and I will see you here next time. Bye-bye.